Live from Cool Boys Central.
You're the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
Hold your dicks and rub your tits.
You'll be ice cold.
Here come the Cool Boys.
Just a young boy.
So cool.
So cool.
So cool.
Oh, it's the Cool Boys.
Greetings, Cool Boy Nation, and welcome to a special installment of the Cool Boys Podcast. I'm Felk.
I'm Ballard.
And I'm Dorn.
So cool. Well, Dorn, welcome back. You are back, of course, because you are our most voted number one guest to come back.
Yes.
And we appreciate it as always. And they were just clamoring after the Justice League Spoilercast. Cool Boy Nation was just clamoring for some more Dorn. They said, give us Dorn.
It's not just that Nolan doesn't see movies.
Well, I'm happy to be back, so thanks for having me. Fortunately, Justice League was not a good movie, but tonight we have an actual good movie to review.
Tip in his hat, I see.
Yeah. I didn't write this. Ballard wrote this. This episode, we three white boys will be discussing Black Panther and all the fabulous white boners it has given us. We will not be bringing our black friend on the Spoilercast to prove we are woke or not racist, like so many other Spoilercasts and spoiler reviews have been doing.
Yeah.
We will just be three white boys, white-splaining the 18th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Black Panther.
Hold up. Let's go.
Spoilers.
Spoilers for Blade and Black Panther.
And Steel.
Cause we own ya.
It's time for
Spoilers.
So juicy. Everyone's talking about Blade with this. And it was just a natural...
Yeah, Steel. Nobody's talking about Steel.
No one's talking about Steel or Meteor Man or Blank Man.
I
love Blank Man,
I'm
by
a
the
fan
way.
of Blank Man.
I do love Blank Man.
I love Blank Man. My favorite thing, it goes when there's like a pimp at one point who's just hitting women, like hookers in the alley. He's just slapping them. And Damon Wayans' Blank Man gets in there, and he's just like, hit me like you hit them, or something like that. Or, and then the guy just starts hitting Damon Wayans, and he starts crying like a woman. He's, ah! Every hit is just, ah! He does this perfect woman cry.
He says, slap me around and call me Susie.
Don't you know, man, I'll beat you like you're one of my bitches.
Slap me around and call me Susan.
And he starts hitting him and says, damn it, Susan.
I warned you, Susan.
Does he really?
Yes. Yeah, Damon Wayans is crying.
Someone should help that lady.
I love Blank Man.
We usually do a quick Cool Boy rating of the past films of the franchise, and you wrote none. But that's not true. This is the 18th film in a single franchise. So real quick, let's just rate every single MCU movie.
No, I just didn't want us to go through 18 films. And we did with Thor, we rated only Thor in movies too. So I mean, we could rate Black Panther in Civil War.
Yeah.
Sure. I thought he was great in Civil War.
I'll give him 3 stars in Civil War.
I thought Black Panther for me was more the standout character in Civil War than Spider-Man was. When it came to cameos.
Well, because we've seen Spider-Man before. We knew what Spider-Man was on screen, and it was like, this is just a new take on Spider-Man. Far more accurate to the comics version. But Black Panther it's like altogether new, and he worked a little bit better as a supporting character than as the lead, I thought.
Yeah.
So
I liked how it was like a backdoor pilot to his origin story.
Yeah.
Like how he became king, like you saw that in Captain America's movie. I liked how it was clever writing and that way of gelling like the Marvel universe into it. And I loved the little like thing he had, like his ring, his vibranium ring, that every time he got near Bucky's arm, he could kind of control Bucky's arm. And I still don't know if that's been answered. I'm guessing it's just magnetism.
I didn't even notice that, and I've seen Civil War many times.
There's 2 times when he fights Bucky.
It's just it's the vibranium, man.
Yeah.
We don't know what vibranium can really fully do even after seeing Black Panther.
No, it has magical powers apparently.
It's magic.
It's very
but I'd give Black Panther in Civil War. I would give him like easy 4.5 out of 5.
I'm gonna say 3. I think that is a better amount of Black Panther because it kept Wakanda mysterious, and you don't really find out too much about it. You don't really get much more out of his character than his like focus and what he's like trying to do, which is vengeance. Once you started the world building, there was too many plot holes. So, not to tip my hat too much on Black Panther because I did enjoy it. But yeah, I thought his debut was a little more interesting than when we got the full entree, the appetizer.
Ooh.
A little tastier.
Just in Civil War, yeah, I think Black Panther's a 5 out of 5 because he was a great supporting role, like you guys said. Yeah, it was the first time we got to see him. And I'm a big Black Panther fan. So for me, it was like, oh, yes, finally. And then, it was a total tease for the movie coming out, his own feature film.
And Chadwick's great. He's a great Black Panther. So I was kind of happy to see him kind of get his own movie. But it kind of seemed like he was a little bit shelved for his film at times, didn't it?
It did.
In Black Panther?
I don't think he was the most interesting character, even though he was the title role.
Yeah.
Well, then, guys, why don't we get into the Black Panther and give our quick cool boy rating of Black Panther?
I would give it a solid 4.5. I really liked it. It wasn't a perfect film, but had some little things. But overall, I still really enjoyed it.
I would give Black Panther 4 out of 5.
Really?
I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was great. I would say the only thing that I would knock it down for is that it was had some shoddy CGI at times. Honestly, that was my biggest issues with it.
Shoddy is a generous word.
Yeah, there's some really bad green screening for sure.
Walking out of the theater, I would have said 3, a solid 3, which for me is I'm not super generous with the stars or boys. So like a 3 is a good movie, and especially any standalone MCU entry. 3 means there's no way I give Ant-Man 2, and I think Ant-Man's fine. It's just like I'm tired of fucking these standalone movies. Same with Doctor Strange. This one obviously because it had all these things you really don't see on film. Afrofuturism, all black cast, I guess. Which, as George Lucas pointed out, there's never been a movie with an all-black cast.
No, it never has.
So that's brand new.
Red Tails doesn't even exist before Black Panther does.
No.
Mandela effect. The Mandela effect.
So it's as a cinematic experience, I really enjoyed it. But the entire time thinking about it and afterwards, I kept trying to figure out numerous world-building issues and plot holes. And
did it drop?
And we'll go into this later, but the third act was like, they saw Phantom Menace and thought, let's do that because it's Phantom Menace.
It did have a Phantom Menace feel in that third act, yes.
I would say the whole movie in general, and one of the reasons I gave it 4 out of 5, and might as well get into this right now because you just hit it on the head.
Well, 2.5 is what my final rating.
I loved this way this movie felt like Star Wars.
Really?
Like, I loved it. Like, as soon as he flew into Wakanda and T'Challa's all like, this never gets old. And you're just like, and then like, you just saw this like futuristic like city and all that stuff. And even though it seemed so unrealistic that there would be this much advancement, I still like bought into the fantasy of it and I loved it. And then the landing felt like Coruscant. Like when he lands in their Quinjet thing or whatever it is, their Black Panther mobile jet. And then the whole throne room felt like straight out of Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. Like it felt like Naboo's throne room to me, at least.
Yeah.
And then just in general, I would say just the alien feel of the movie. It was also so brightly lit. It felt very Phantom Menace to me, very Star Wars.
Yeah, it did feel very Star Wars, especially the prequels, but in a good way. This was definitely a lot better than those.
Oh my god, and that ending for sure. That was fucking Gungans versus battle droids.
You some people gonna die?
No, it was Gungans versus battle droids in the exact same location, just with some African trees in the background. So like totally CGI. It's like in 1998, it felt really, or 99, it felt really kind of fucking weird that it was like, we could go to just a grassy field, but now let's CG a grassy field. And in this one, it's like, well, we could just go to Africa. No, let's CG a grassy field in Africa, have a big battle going on there where there's like blue energy fucking shields, just like in the Phantom Menace, intercut between a fight in a basically the exact same location as the Darth Maul fight in the Phantom Menace, where there's a thing that keeps energy fields keep separating them, except it's a train. And intercutting that with a space battle where you're trying to destroy something that's like tangentially related to the other fight, just like Anakin in space. It's like it kept cutting back between these three things, and I'm like,
no, it is exactly the end of Phantom Menace.
Oh my God! And didn't you also have a Queen Amidala storyline too with Nakia?
Kinda, yeah.
oh yeah, because it's a young girl learning to lead.
Oh, that was amazing! What? This is why I love the movie. Phantom Menace is my favorite prequel.
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, still.
Well, I like the Star Wars aspects of it.
If I'm generous, 3. If I'm gonna nitpick 2.5, and I'll get into all the massive plot holes and loops in logic and world building that the movie just kind of says, it's black people just like it. It's like, I'm gonna point out these problems. I'm still gonna point out these issues.
I was full on. It's black people. I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, the music, speaking of black people.
Music's great.
I love the music.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was incredible. And I thought it was used so well. I mean, all the tracks I loved from the album were hitting at the moments I loved in the movie. Like, Ops is playing when they start the chase. That was so great. And then the movie ended on all the stars or whatever. That was fucking great.
Those are all Kendrick Lamar songs, correct?
They are for the album, but written for the movie.
Yeah, okay.
And then I even liked how like the chase incorporated the song Ops, and then it worked its way into the score that the composer actually then like built off of that, similar to like, you know, other great films you can think of, like The Matrix.
Really?
Commonly did
I was
that,
a little
would go in
disappointed
and out
to
of score and needle drops.
I was a little disappointed to not hear any Run the Jewels because it was so baked into their marketing. I was kind of surprised they didn't, but I guess they were trying to do like a single package of like all Kendrick Lamar songs. And I forgot who did the score, but obviously it had you know, like a African / hip hop beat. It was unique.
Yeah.
And I think Marvel finally figured it out, because this is the second time in a row where I actually remember the music, because also Thor Ragnarok had Mark
great music
from Devo doing Devo ass fucking like 80s techno shit, and then which fits that movie. And then this one has again, I forget who did the music, but it fit the movie, and it was unique to the movie. Where it wasn't just like when Michael Giacchino just was like, I'll change some notes on my Star Trek score, and it'll be the Doctor Strange theme that you'll forget.
Yeah, you're right, and also I love the like the Dora Milaje like chant. In that song, whenever they would fight, you would all of a sudden you would start to hear their like you would hear that particular song and that kind of sound playing, like it was almost like them doing it in the score, and that was great. And
that beat reminded me of the Dashi Bashara Bashara Dashi Bashara Bashara from Dark Knight Rises.
What does that mean? Rise.
Oh, yeah, there should be more chanting in comic book movies.
Temple of Doom, right?
Yeah, I loved how they used that tribal effect, obviously, you know, with the African roots.
Yeah.
I thought the music worked really well.
Different roots, but it was nice to have something distinct.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
for sure. And then I gotta say, the action now, I guess online there's been a little bit more of divisiveness in the action, or maybe I'm just the other end of that divisiveness. I liked the action, even though it may have been really CGI times. I actually did like the action of the film. I thought the entire fight sequence in the South Korean club was amazing. I loved how it built right into the South Korean car chase. I thought that was really fucking cool, and I didn't like hate the ending, honestly. I like the battle. I don't mind those ridiculous battles sometimes. I think they're fun, especially if you have like heroes on both sides you're paying attention to.
I think the action was the weakest part. It was very very CGI. The parts of the action that worked were just the one-on-one fights. Just one person fighting another person was T'Challa fighting two different people. 2 points in the movie. You know, Ryan Coogler he did Creed. He obviously knows how to handle a one-on-one fight, but the big, massive car chases and stuff is like, this is entirely green screen. And, you know, when we got to the armored rhinoceroses, that's when I was like, All right, when's it over?
Yeah.
I love those. I love the Rhino Riders.
I thought the South Korean, action sequences were the best part of the movie as far as the action goes. As far as like the comic book action,
There was no
obviously very
tension.
green screen.
There was no tension for me in the chase scene because, when
No.
you have a hero who just can just absorb bullets and he's only up against people with bullets.
Right. I figure that's Black Panther's biggest weakness is like he doesn't have a weakness. Like,
Yeah.
he never was really in trouble except for when he was fighting on the waterfalls and trying to when it was actually two men fighting. That was actually more
Warrior
interesting.
Falls.
Yeah. Those scenes were cool. Those scenes were interesting, and I did not in the second one. I legitimately did not know who was going to win. I thought that was a cool surprise. So
I liked how in the first one there's tension when he's like trying to submit the guy and he's like, just submit, and the dude's like, no, and he's like half his body's hanging off the falls. Like that was really
intense.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I have to bring up real fast in Civil War, is it ever established in any way that T'Challa, Black Panther, has like inherent superpowers? I thought he was just regular human strength in a vibranium suit.
Oh,
and
no,
this one is
definitely not.
This one brings in, he's got super strength in addition to that. But when he fights Bucky without the suit in Civil War, right when Bucky's escaping from his little lockup situation, like he does better than other people fighting him, but he still kind of gets his ass kicked. Like, so he's not stronger than a super soldier serum. So like, how strong is he? And do we really need that since he never uses that strength? He only uses his strength when he's in the suit anyways.
Bucky has become a super soldier as well.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. So he is a super soldier as well. So and T'Challa, they do kind of establish that he has super soldier powers, that like on the same level that Captain America would. Their strength levels, I don't know that, to be honest. But they did make it seem during the fight with Bucky, when Bucky was breaking free, that Bucky becomes this kind of like unstoppable force, this train that's going down the tracks. You can't stop him. As long as he's on the tracks, you can't stop him. And so what I took that is that when he's that determined, you really can't stop Bucky unless you're going to kill him. And I thought that was the fear and what happened when Bucky would switch to Hydra Bucky assassin.
Yeah, we don't know how strong Bucky is. He might be stronger than Captain America, I guess.
With one arm, he could be equal in strength to Captain America, and another arm, a new metal arm, right? He could be even stronger, possibly.
Well, I thought that in the Black Panther film was the first time we're seeing T'Challa take the heart-shaped, herbs or the plant.
No, they make him drink before he fights M'Baku at the Warrior Falls. They make him drink something that takes away his power.
Yeah.
They do say that.
We never see the first time he took it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. He did have superpowers, enhanced abilities.
He was jumping really far
Civil War.
in Civil War at times.
Yeah, I mean he was.
I thought that was the suit doing that though.
No, he was. During the fight with Bucky, he's leaping around in just his casual like T'Challa wear.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but he's not leaping. He's not doing anything that like they don't have like Hawkeye and Black Widow do, and they don't have.
Yeah, no, he does. He does. He leaps further than they do.
Okay.
They show him do more leaping.
And
than
he's hauling ass when he's running and chasing Bucky and like.
But
Captain
again, I thought that was the
America behind
suit. I thought that was the suit.
He's
enhances
he's
his
running
strength.
fast, like super fast.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah, but I think they did try to set it up at least a little bit. But if they didn't, I at least took it as such. Speaking of the suit, did you guys like the suits?
No.
I didn't really like the new version as much as the old version. I like the older one.
Yeah, I like
think
the original.
The way it came on was too magical, which would be fine if it was entirely magical, but they make it clear it's not magic, it's technology. That's the MCU thing. We keep saying it's not magic, it's fucking technology.
You felt any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Yeah.
That's Arthur C. Clarke.
But it's like it comes from a necklace. The entire suit comes out of the necklace. It's like I kept thinking of the worst MCU movie, or one of the worst, is Iron Man 2. I love the fucking suitcase suit because at least makes it seem like that suitcase could have the same volume that the suit, which is like a thinner version of the Iron Man suit, has. But in this one, it just kind of like fades onto his face. There's no mechanicalness to it. I would have preferred it to be a little bit more mechanical to make it clear. And if it's not, then don't reiterate. Ain't no magic going on here. It's all technology. Like then how come it's fucking clearly magical? Because I don't care how neat of metal vibranium is. It can't contract space. It can't distort the space-time continuum to like
Arthur C. Clarke.
like a fucking Looney Tunes bag.
Or like the Flash's ring, where the Flash has his whole costume in his ring, and then he shoots it out and he gets dressed super quick.
I'm not familiar with that.
That's the Flash. The Flash has a ring, and it's his costume.
His whole suit is in the ring.
Walk around as Barry Allen or Wally West, like do 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 do, and then boom, shoot out the costume, hop in it, and flash on out.
Huh. I haven't seen those episodes.
No, that's not. I don't know if it's in the TV show. I haven't been following the TV show recently, but
it is. I don't know.
That's comics. Anyways, I didn't really like the look of the new suit, and I kind of found the kinetic energy aspect of it kind of silly.
Yeah.
Honestly,
it was a little silly. Yeah.
I'm okay with it being bulletproof, but having it like absorb the bulletproof powers, and then it was like weird how it worked at times. Like it seemed like if it bounced off of something, like he could be like was it Killmonger shoots him with like some kind of sonic cannon, and then it like takes that kinetic energy that was already built up into T'Challa, and then it launches T'Challa backwards. So that kind of I don't know.
That's not how energy works.
Then his sister Shuri showed him like, here, kick right here. And then she starts filming it, to make fun because he's like, now kick it again.
Yeah.
And he goes launching back like that. But then they never showed that in the movie. Like anytime somebody hit him and then hit him the same spot, I felt like he had to project the energy off the suit if he wanted to. It wasn't
I like
automatic.
how he took a lot of hits and then he would just launch back. It just felt to me, honestly, like it was just very metaphorical. And I understand the metaphor of essentially absorbing the bullets and getting stronger because of it.
Yeah, but when you got sick, okay, metaphor. Now I'm getting it.
And then when you have like all the people, from W'Kabi's tribe, the border tribe, the border security tribe, when they're just beating on him at the end in the Gungan field on Naboo, and then all of a sudden he just bursts through. It's kind of like that idea of that, like finally being able to fight back, right, and finally being able to like push off the oppression and shit like that. I think it was very metaphorical. It just I thought it was kind of silly.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is he doesn't. As long as he's wearing the suit, he doesn't have a weakness. Nothing can hurt him, right? He's basically Superman.
Pretty much, and they established that he's also, taking the last heart herb, right?
What would be really interesting metaphor would be if it wasn't that he was impervious, but it was just that his skin was bulletproof, so he could still be injured, but nothing can penetrate his skin. That would be a really cool black character that the Marvel Universe seems to want to pretend doesn't exist when they're talking about Black Panther. No love for Luke Cage at all in this marketing. It's not like if you like Black Panther, go see Luke Cage. It's like they are really doubling down this whole, when we're talking about the movies, we don't talk about the Netflix.
No, not
it's very weird because this would seem like a really cool, like, have Luke Cage meet T'Challa. Wouldn't that be fucking great? Never going to happen because we made the wrong contract deals, I guess.
Samuel L. Jackson apparently said that he was this is before the movie came out, that he was a little frustrated that he was not going to be in the Black Panther film. Like he was kind of like, what? Like how am I of all people not going to be in the Black Panther film?
Well, I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad there wasn't just this, moment at the end where he's like, "I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative." Like, I don't know. I'm glad there was no random heroes that just, outside of Bucky and his little moment at the very end.
I didn't see that.
I'm glad, Spider-Man didn't just show up or Iron Man,
okay,
whatever.
Spider-Man showing up and Iron Man showing up would have been fucking weird, but Captain America is just chilling in Wakanda. At no point when they're at their fucking.
No, he isn't.
Isn't he?
Well, the last time we saw him, he was
Captain
in
America,
Wakanda.
we have no idea where he is.
So
but
he
the
left
last time we
Wakanda.
saw him, he was there in Wakanda when Bucky went under ice.
Okay.
Yeah, but I imagine he bounced.
Okay, maybe that's true because my problem is just based on one line in the Infinity War trailer, really, where it implies that Cap is still in Wakanda when he's like, give this man a shield, even though it's cut from a different scene.
And get this man a shield.
So I got the impression that from that end credits sting of Civil War that, he was just staying low in Wakanda. And it's like, if everything's fucked up and, genocidal maniac is taking control of the entire country, wouldn't you be like, hey, maybe we should ask that one white guy. I mean, I thought it was just they didn't want to deal with the white savior trope, so they didn't bring him in. But it's like, shouldn't there at least be a line as to why they're not going to ask Cap for help?
So, Felk, speaking of the white savior trope, there's this great line actually from Ryan Coogler all about that. And he has this thing, because it's talking about how even though Captain America may or may not have been in Wakanda, we know Bucky was in Wakanda.
Yes.
And so Ryan Coogler said, but Bucky would have had horrible PTSD. He would have needed spiritual guidance. The last thing he would need to do is jump into that civil war. And so that was kind of the thought process there. And it could be potentially problematic if it's a bunch of Africans fighting and you bring in a white dude, he comes in shooting people, laughs in parentheses. We were aware of that. Bucky's not trained to neutralize people peacefully. He's an assassin.
Sure.
So Ryan Coogler definitely was aware of that for the Bucky character for sure.
Sure. Maybe it's just that Cap was only in Wakanda to drop off Bucky, and then he went and did other things. Because I guess he does appear at the floating mega prison,
the raft,
to ironically save another black guy, Falcon, from being locked up.
What do you guys think of the one white guy who really was there?
Yeah.
Everett K. Ross.
Bilbo.
Played by Martin Freeman.
Bilbo and Gollum in the same movie.
I thought he was kind of awkward. Like, I was fine with him in the beginning when he was kind of there, and then when he was like, all right, now I'm going to pilot the ship, and now I'm going to do this, and now, I was like, oh, come on, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I liked a little bit that we had him because I felt like we kind of needed some kind of conduit to the American government. And then especially for the idea of moving forward where the movie gets to, we'll get to that later when we get into the Easter eggs, but the way the movie does set up the MCU moving forward. But I liked Everett Ross. I liked that we had some world building with him, like some character building. We have now the knowledge that he was an ex-United States Air Force pilot. So that has implications right there that he could be in the Captain Marvel film.
Oh,
right? I mean, that's what Carol Danvers is. She's an Air Force pilot, right?
I guess.
So you recast the character, Everett K. Ross?
No, you don't recast it. You just do Martin Freeman a little younger, and they know it. They can just youthen him up a bit. It's fine.
Okay.
They did it with Michael Douglas. I mean, they did it with a bunch of people.
Yeah, they've been
did
doing
it with
that.
Robert Downey Jr.
They've been doing it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did it with Kurt Russell.
Yeah. Disney loves that trick.
I watched the 5th Pirates of the Caribbean movie because it's on Netflix, and there's a fucking 10-minute sequence with young Johnny Depp. Looks pretty good.
Yeah. It's dead on. It is dead on. It looks like Johnny Depp before he started acting.
Yeah.
Like in Platoon and stuff. It looks incredible.
So that tech is there. So they definitely could. They don't need to recast anymore. As far as Everett Ross is concerned, I thought he was fine. I get from a marketing standpoint why he's in the movie. Yeah, you do want at least one Caucasian face, but you want to keep him as low as to not get into the way of the point of the movie. I did find it a little...
And you want him to be good, so he's not, the only evil dude is a white guy.
Correct. And I don't want to get into the politics of the movie too much. It was a little disconcerting that the only heroic white guy in the movie was CIA. Like, that's a little weird.
He's a CIA agent who shares secrets.
Yeah, and a slightly shady CIA agent. It was basically like, hey, black people, we know you don't like street level police right now, but the deep state, they're cool. CIA's on the side of good. They want to help Wakanda and Black Panther. It's like, that's not propaganda, but it smells like it, kind of. It's like a little weird. It was a little weird. It was a little weird. That's why they downplayed the CIA-ness of him and just made him into he helps through piloting skills. Because if you Google CIA in Africa, there's been some conflicts.
Oh, for sure. But and I think that's kind of a little bit of the referencing of the character too. And I'm sure he will be in Captain Marvel. We'll see him again. We'll see more of his character. He is contracted for more than just 2 films.
Yeah.
He has more than 2 films on his contract. So that means we've already seen him in Civil War and we've seen him in Black Panther. So he has Captain Marvel is in production right now. He could be shooting that. He could be in Avengers 4, the untitled Avengers film. Who knows? Who knows?
We'll see him again. Yeah.
He's coming back.
Is confirmed.
One of the things I gotta say right away, I really liked the cast as a whole. I thought they were a fantastic cast, and I thought they were, for an ensemble cast, they were amazing. Everyone knew kind of where their place was in balance.
Oh, it was an amazing cast. I mean, everyone was just perfectly cast, I thought, and there was a couple of new people that really stood out.
You know what you're getting with Forrest Whitaker and Angela Bassett. You're gonna get solid supporting work from them. The only one that I did not like, and it's not necessarily the performance, was Shuri. I found her character a little annoying. It was a little too.
I liked her.
A little too quippy.
Here's what I would say. A movie of Shuri would absolutely annoy the hell out of me. I couldn't do a full movie of her like that.
That's what I worried about. Is that I know what they've done in the comics, and I know they want Ironheart to be a thing in the movies because they can't keep Robert Downey Jr. around forever. And it's like, Marvel, please don't do that. I mean, that character would just be so grating as a lead or as a focus. It's like, I found her annoying as just like the comic support, and I don't really want to watch more focus on her.
Yeah, I would find her to be grating after a while. You can't, because she's too cool, she's too funny, she knows all the right stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a character that isn't really compelling.
Yeah,
it's not that. It's just that, to me, that breaks down to that, and it could be great if maybe there's like given some wonderful, hurdles this character has to eventually go over, and like whatever, and like, and some pits and falls, and they have to grow out of it. Sure, and maybe the character becomes something different. But the way they established the character in Black Panther, I thought she was wonderfully funny as a supporting cast member, and that's about it. She's Q, right? I mean, she's literally Q.
Right,
yeah.
she's Q. Yeah.
The MCU's done a good job of not having smart alecky sidekicks, and I don't think that's. I think they should stay the course on that one.
For sure. And hopefully they do. But I like her as a Q because as we do lose, as you pointed out, Robert Downey Jr. soon to his contract, and we're going to have this overhaul. We're going to need a new Smarty Pants, essentially, to build all the cool suits and create all the cool toys for us to watch on screen. So I think it's very likely she is being kind of set up to be that character.
Well, yeah, and Kevin Feige has said that she's the smartest character in the whole MCU. So
yep. She is.
So they're obviously going to continue keeping her around for a while.
One of the things I love about Marvel, and this kind of comes from the comics, obviously, based on the characters, how they're designed first and foremost up front, is our heroes are scientists. And I love that. I love that Peter Parker is a smart, genius like kid in high school. I love that Bruce Banner's a scientist. I love Tony Stark's a scientist. I love that Reed Richards is a scientist. I love these guys are scientists. I mean, even She-Hulk, right? I mean, she's a lawyer. I mean, like that's like a Daredevil, right? He's a lawyer. Like, I just
not a very good one.
Well, he's a great one for the Hulk in the comics, but I just love that in general that you have these like characters and they're just like they're upstanding individuals.
Actually, Howard Stark's my favorite scientist from the MCU.
Ooh, Howard Stark. All right.
Just because,
I thought of Howard as more of an innovator.
There's a Disney
Sure.
There's a Disney thing to him, but like Disney wasn't. Like innovator is part of being an inventor. It's like there's showmanship to the way he does it, but he's obviously clearly inventing stuff behind the scenes.
What about Hank Pym?
No.
Pym, yeah. Well, Hank Pym actually is a really bad character in the comics. He beats the fuck out of his girlfriend and wife all the time.
Sure, yeah, but don't they blame that on the Pym particles have kind of altered his judgment?
I don't know. I think he's a monster.
I've read that book. I know what you're talking about. He does just beat down his wife.
He's a complicated character.
Captain America has to go put him in his place.
And then he takes his wife.
Takes his wife.
Captain America
takes
does.
her.
Yeah.
He does. He takes her.
Yeah. He's like, oh, Janet. Hey, Janet. Nice wings you got there.
Disconfirmed.
Oh, he knows what to do. Oh, last thing about the effects I thought was weird is, did you guys notice in Jalia, T'Chaka's eye was all wonky?
Yeah, so
Yes.
that was where I was like, did I miss something? Because I was noticing it for the first time. I guess I need to rewatch Civil War, see if his eye does that. I definitely didn't. I mean, he's a different actor, but him when he was younger in the prologue, like I didn't notice anything with his eye.
Did you know that's his son, the actor?
I did not know that. That's his son?
I didn't know until after the movie.
That was interesting because they didn't do the CG de-aging when they've been doing it for a lot. They didn't do it there. They just didn't use.
Well, they're like, nobody knows what he looked like then.
Well, I thought at the time, I was like, wow, that's great casting. He looks a lot like the younger version of that actor. And I found out later it's his son. I was like, oh.
Yeah, because I thought he looked like that, like younger version of that older actor as well. But I also thought they kind of like morphed him with, honestly, Chadwick Boseman. It just turns out it's his actual actor's son. I was like, oh, I thought there was all the CGI at play, and it wasn't.
Great casting. Yeah.
But his eye wasn't fucked up, and T'Challa's eye was all wonky in that one scene.
T'Chaka.
T'Chaka's eye.
What'd I say?
Yeah.
T'Challa.
T'Chaka's eye was all fucked up in that scene, and I like. That's fine. People get eye situations. like stuff happens to people
All the time.
control their eye.
Later in
It was just like
Come in the eye.
it was just distracting because I was like, that wasn't set up, was it? Did I forget something? And I don't remember it doing that in Civil War.
Exactly. I don't recall that either. In Civil War, his eye didn't seem to lister off to the left so lazily.
Well, he was wearing glasses the whole time, so sometimes that distracts you.
No, that's true.
Wouldn't in the afterlife your eye be fixed, especially if like that's the first time I'm noticing it?
I know. I think that's the thing. The actor got old, but I found it distracting. Okay, I found it distracting, but this was a horrible thing about my theater. Okay, I had literally these two people behind me. It was obviously this really awkward date where the guy just didn't know how to shut up. So throughout the whole opening, like trailers and all that shit, he's just talking the whole time, and she's talking, and they're talking about those bullshit stuff, and then it continued into the movie. And like it's one of the things that they actually pointed out. Like they're like, "Oh, do you see his eyes all weird?" Yeah, I do see that. And I'm like, "Are you still seriously fucking talking? Like we're like 30 minutes in the movie, you're still fucking talking?" The guy literally looks over at his date and goes, "Is it windy?" And she just goes, "No, I don't think it's windy right now." And he goes, "Huh? I couldn't tell if it was windy or not." And they're talking about a scene in the movie, and I'm all of a sudden looking in the movie, and I'm like, is it windy in the movie right now? What the fuck is going on? Why are we talking about wind in the middle of this goddamn movie? And it was literally in the Dajalia scene when there's no wind and the wonky eye action's going on, and I'm just like, oh my god, this movie, it was pretty hard to like zone these people out, actually. I got frustrated by them. And I kept going, shh, shh. And they just kept talking. He clearly just did not get laid that night. There's no way he got laid. He had no game and he had no confidence. He just did not know when to shut the fuck up. And like every trailer he had an opinion on. It was in the beginning. It was like one of those things like, oh, I heard about this and that. You're just like, shut the fuck up, please. It was like listening to a podcast while watching an episode of Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Not a cool one.
That's the problem with going to movies on opening weekend, especially one this big. It's just like the theater's going to be just jam-packed with a bunch of people just talking and on their phones the whole time. I hate that.
Yeah. I don't get the phones too much in the theaters that I go to, but I do get a lot of the people just talking incessantly, and you're just like, seriously, dude, what the fuck is going on? I hate the times when you deal with a parent who brought a child in who should just never have been in that movie. And you're just like, what is your 2-year-old doing right now in Thor Ragnarok? Like, what's the thought process there?
I saw X-Men First Class, and there was a dad with like his 2 little kids in that scene when Magneto's pulling the guy's filling out of his mouth, and like the guy's like screaming and his head's all like stiff, and the kids lost it. They seriously lost their shit, and the dad had to take them out. They were right in front of me, and I seriously like, dude, you got to get them out of here. Like the kids were losing their shit. They were like, "What the?" You
told the dad he's got to get his kids out of there.
I was kind of like, "Get him out of here!" Like, no, they were like the 2 kids were screaming like they were like bloody murder.
Dude, Magneto was too intense. Dad's like, "I'm gonna work my way through this, and I don't give a fuck. I'm seeing this movie."
And that's like 15 minutes into the movie.
And Dorn, you're all like, "Get him out of here, buddy."
Like, get him out. Like, no, because the kids were losing it. I was like, it's a scary scene. If you're 6 years old.
It's a lot of intense things. I wouldn't show my kids right now First Class. The whole Holocaust opening's a little intense.
Yeah.
Kills his mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit there. Yeah.
And speaking of X-Men, the finale train fight, there was literally a shot that was right out of the X-Men Statue of Liberty sequence when T'Challa was like thrown by Eric Killmonger, and he grabs onto like the pole, spins around it like Wolverine does, and then lands. And I was just like, "What? That's straight out of X-Men 2000."
I'll give them this: I like how they at least had an excuse during that train sequence to, be like, "Oh well, when the lights are on, the vibranium powers sort of dwindle." So like, because you always see in every Spider-Man movie, he's just fighting without his mask on, and for no reason. And I like how it was like, oh, all of a sudden we can see their faces, but there was a reason for it. And then once the train went by, it was like, all right, mask back on, let's fight.
Yeah, it wasn't Topher Grace constantly revealing his face. Remember, I'm Venom. I'm Venom Spidey.
Yeah, it was.
Right. Yeah. And Captain America does it all the time. He's like, no, this mask's got to go, and he just takes it off.
Well, you don't want to hide those looks when you got him.
I don't know. I liked that Lee gave an excuse for why all of a sudden their masks were just gone. And they
Yeah.
did fine.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the way it came off. To me, it still should have been more technological. This looked, because now that they actually finally fucking have actual magic in the MCU. It's like what, two movies ago?
Doctor Strange.
To specifically go like, oh, it's not magic, it's technology. It's technology. It's like,
Arthur C. Clarke.
yeah, but if it's technology, why are you making it look so fucking much like magic? Just a little bit more of mechanicalness in the mask coming off.
When you're strange, doctors come out of the brain. When you're strange, when you're strange.
No, it's a copyright strike from the Doors.
Well, okay. So the movie started off with the prologue, right? We got to see this vibranium black sand prologue, right? And all I took from that was vibranium asteroid and created technology, right? And the rise to isolation with technology.
Didn't quite make sense, but yeah.
Well, you had to give a background to this wonderful Wakandan place, you know.
But do you think the only thing that asteroid brought was vibranium? Or do you think it maybe brought a soul stone?
Yeah, I was surprised that it wasn't specifically mentioned. It would have made a lot more sense because metal being in the ground wouldn't change plants in a way that would make
you said
the
in the
country
Thor
have a...
Ragnarok podcast, you said in that Spoilercast that you thought the soul stone was going to be in Wakanda because of Soul Train.
No, that's just that's just a
soul food.
That's just a fun little coincidence. Where actually it might be the opposite, where they're like, it's a little awkward that the last stone we have is soul. But I mean, it's not like I didn't make up the phrase soul having to do with black culture. That's established. That's a thing. And
yes, you did. You made that up.
And it's not something it's not something that black culture has fought against. It's something they've embraced. The word soul is okay and has that connotation. So I don't think it would be insensitive to have the soul stone be in Wakanda. It's the only stone that we haven't heard from yet, and Wakanda or Black Panther was the only movie to come out before Infinity War, so it just seemed logical that it would be there. And I still think it is, because there's clearly a fight in Wakanda in Infinity Stone, or Infinity War. So it's like,
nope, I don't think so.
No, I think it's still inside Heimdall.
Heimdall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still
That's
think
what I'm hoping.
him.
H. He's the H in the Thanos
Right, he's
theory.
H. His eyes are orange. He can see the souls of everybody. It makes
You can see everyone's soul.
Nobody cares
Makes
about
sense.
Heimdall, dude.
They're gonna kill Idris Elba, and Idris Elba will be like, "Thank you, I'm out of my contract."
Even black people don't care about Idris Elba. They care about fucking Black Panther now.
Everybody cares about Idris Elba.
Why didn't Heimdall show up in Black Panther? Like he fits the bill.
He fits the bill.
Because
No,
he's
he
in
doesn't.
another-
He's an Asgardian wandering through space.
Yeah, isn't he on that ship with fucking Thor?
Yeah, well, they're just refugees
That's true.
now.
Yeah, he's on the ship.
He's never been to Earth, as far as we know.
He's on Asgard.
Yeah, he's
He
on
doesn't-
Asgard, right?
Yeah, he doesn't know about Wakanda.
Did you notice during the prologue whose voices it was? You hear two voices.
It was T'Chaka, wasn't it?
No, it's Killmonger's and his dad. It's Killmonger asking his dad, "Tell me a story."
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, I caught that.
I didn't pick that up at first, but
It was in Jabu, and it was
Yes.
Eric Killmonger.
Because remember, Killmonger later on refers to his dad telling him fairy tales about Wakanda, and then
Yeah.
and if you go back and listen to their voices, it's their voice.
Wow.
Yeah, I pieced it together.
I didn't pick that up at first, but I eventually clicked put those dots together.
Well, that was kind of cool then, right? To go see essentially the whole opening then in Oakland, right?
Well, I was gonna say, I love how T'Chaka is just ruthless and just has no doubt about just killing his own brother. You've committed treason against our country? Yeah, just stab you right through the chest. Oh, my nephew's here? No, he'll be fine. It's Oakland.
He could have wired him some money, right? I mean,
Did they ever say anything about his mother? I was like, oh, he'll be fine. He's got
No.
his mom. But I don't recall them ever saying, like, she's gone.
Maybe it was still hard. Who knows?
single mom in Oakland. I don't think that's a great story.
I liked it. I liked that
Right.
it was Oakland. I like that because it's like Coogler even doing like a call up to his first movie, Fruitvale Station.
He's also from Oakland.
He's also from Oakland. I like that. Like I liked Fruitvale Station, and
Yeah.
yeah,
lived
do
in
you
the
like
Bay Area
Oakland?
and grew up in the Bay Area, and so when
yeah,
Fruitvale
yeah.
Station shit went down, that was intense.
You guys go to Oakland a lot?
I've been. Oh, absolutely, Fox Theater.
Okay.
But I thought when T'Chaka kills his brother N'Jobu, like that was really intense. But I thought what was more intense was that it was Sterling K. Brown.
I didn't realize Sterling K. Brown was in this, and he's like in this one of the like first scenes of the movie. I was like, oh my god,
Who is Sterling K. Brown?
he was the
N'Jobu.
brother. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Eric's dad.
Yeah, who is he outside of this movie?
I know him from.
He was in the O.J.
Story.
Simpson
Yeah,
trial
the
show,
American
which
Crime
was
Story.
awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was excellent.
He's
Okay.
also in this awesome show, Felt That You Don't Watch, This Is Us.
Yeah, I've never seen that either.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen This Is Us.
I've never seen it either. But
I saw the Super Bowl episode.
Is he in the
popular.
Predator reboot or whatever the fuck it is?
the new one that's coming out this year.
Okay. Well, I know what those things are, so now I know who he is.
Bam.
Yep. Oh, I liked the open. I thought it was great, and I kind of liked how you saw the kids in the on the courts down below, like looking up and seeing like the Quinjet looking thing like fly off. I thought that was cool
That
because
was
it was
really
like,
cool,
oh, dude, UFOs. That's totally what people thought were UFOs, probably. You know, shit like that. It was like just the Wakandans flying around in the night skies.
Do you think T'Challa's now going to be hanging out in Oakland now that he's bought all this property there?
No.
Like, let's bring him to America.
Maybe he's living out in
California.
Oakland, just across the bay from Ant-Man.
Right?
The
He's back in Wakanda in Infinity Stone, and so is Infinity
Well,
War.
he's the king.
And so,
Well, he
and
is
so-
the king of
Oh, yeah.
Wakanda.
So is Kaplan. Kaplan.
Captain.
Captain.
He says there's a line in the trailer, and granted they put shit in the trailer, it's not in the movie, but he specifically says,
Evacuate the city. Engage all defenses. And get this man a shield.
and it's like he wouldn't have the authority to say evacuate the city unless it was in Wakanda.
Oakland.
I think if Black Panther like showed up to like any city and he's like evacuate the
Right.
city, I would be
No.
like, absolutely, dude,
That's not how.
absolutely.
That's not foreign diplomats and royalty are not automatically in charge of any city they go to. That's not how diplomacy
Whatever
works.
you say.
No, Wakanda clearly plays a factor in the movie, and I think the Soul Stone's there.
Yeah, I think that's possible. Absolutely. I liked how the prologue. You kind of always think these prologues are like more hero based. This one kind of felt like a little bit of a red herring that you thought it was more about like kind of learning about the father
Yeah.
and maybe his first interactions in the United States, but then it was like actually about really the origin of Eric Killmonger. I kind of liked that. I really liked how this like became from the get-go Eric Killmonger's story really in the end. I felt like kind of like in the way 1989 Batman was more the Joker than it was really Batman's story. Like you kind of like Batman already exists in this world. You kind of see Joker's actual origin falling into like Ace Chemicals vats and shit and like becoming Joker and then like all the way to his demise, in fact.
well, yeah, that's more of a Joker
And
movie.
same with Eric Killmonger.
Yeah.
Like that was what ended up happening with his character. Like you kind of saw his literal origin and then
Yeah.
all the way to his demise.
It wasn't paced well because he's out of the movie for a good 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he just comes back.
Yeah, it's a while in the first act where they kind of try to make it seem like Andy Serkis's Ulysses Claw is actually the villain when the movie is really Eric Killmonger's film.
Yeah, it was a twist. It was a neat twist. I was sad to see Andy Serkis go because he's Andy Serkis, and also I thought his character was weird and thus interesting. Whereas
I liked him.
Killmonger's
Yeah.
all seriousness, and it's just like it's not as fun.
Oh, see, what I liked about Ulysses Claw in this film is that, okay, it continues the reference that, Wakanda exists in Iron Man 2 when they show it in the map,
Yeah.
to the storyline from Age of Ultron when you have, like, Andy Serkis is branded and, like, you have Bruce Banner being like, Wakanda.
Oh, yeah. It's a word in an African dialect meaning thief in a much less friendly way.
What dialect?
Wakanada, Wakanda.
Yeah.
And they're figuring out all the, this, like, backstory to this country.
And the vibranium.
I don't follow what comes out of Wakanda.
The strongest metal on earth.
All the way to Civil War when you literally have citizens of Wakanda come out and, like, and be, like, real people you're interacting with and your characters are interacting with.
Your Highness.
I love that, and Andy Serkis, like, to have him come back into this. I like the way he played his role in this movie, and I liked his sonic converter arm, and I thought it was awesome to see him die though, like because that made fucking Eric Killmonger so much fucking cooler to me.
So help me out here on this. Killmonger kills Claw so he can use him to get into Wakanda, right?
Yeah, he's the ticket. He's the golden ticket.
So what was the whole opening moment with Killmonger in the museum in London. Like, what was that? Like, why did they even steal this
It's a plot
hammer?
hole.
If he was,
It's a plot
if he
hole
was,
is what it is.
if he was just going to kill Claw, like, why even go through the whole heist?
There's a lot of plot holes in this movie, and that's a huge one.
He had the hammer, and then he met what? He was going to sell it to Ross in Korea. I don't know. I was just confused on that. I was like, why didn't he just kill him right away and then just take him to Wakanda?
Why did he also need him to go to Wakanda in the first place when he is
Wakanda.
from Wakanda? And then make a big deal about pulling down your lip and showing you got that Dayglow tattoo with the symbols on it, right? So,
he could have just opened his mouth.
He could have just opened his mouth and shown, hey, I'm Wakandan, let me in. Oh, by the way, I'm a prince, so I get to challenge the king, because apparently that's how they work.
Yeah, family.
There's so many fucking plot holes there. Why didn't he just go there and show that in the first place? Why did he even bother with any of the Killmonger stuff? Like, he didn't know that was going to get one specific person on his side who just happened to, like, he needed that guy kind of because he had fucking armored rhinoceroses to help him. That was
Wakabi.
all. Yeah, that was all just
Wakabi.
kind of a convenience of the plot. Another thing is, why does he have that? Why does he have that tattoo? Like, because wouldn't that imply that you're getting that done in Wakanda, and he wasn't? He was born in Oakland, not Wakanda. So where did he get that tattoo from? Maybe his dad just did it with some spare vibranium, because I'm guessing
No,
it's
he
a
was
vibranium.
born in Wakanda. I took it.
I thought he was
as that.
Then maybe he was born in Wakanda.
And then they took his family out of Wakanda, and he's and Jobu's living in Oakland.
Well, and that brings me to the other huge plot hole. I mean, maybe you can explain this to me, but like, other than I have a little bit of world building problems with the idea that the most technologically advanced and civilized country in the world has as their established system of leadership, the idea that you can challenge the leader to
the ritualistic battle for the throne at Warrior Falls,
to combat or death by yielding, and then that person is just in charge of the country now.
But like, I loved it when he fought when T'Challa fought M'Baku the first time, man-ape in the comics, but M'Baku in this film, because they do not want to call him man-ape.
Fuck no, they don't.
They stayed clear of man-ape.
Yeah,
he's the leader of the Jabari tribe. I love that battle. I loved it, but it was like, I thought that was like the coronation, and I figured you're just supposed to just turn it down, and he's just this asshole like tribe that's like, I'm going to stand up this time.
Okay, maybe that was they do set that up. That yes, it is at this point it is just kind of a on the books kind of law. We do this as tradition. Right. It's not like nobody expects anybody to actually challenge. There's even a joke where his sister Shuri, like, I'm raising my hand. I'm just joking. Let's get this over with, because this is all silly stuff. We just old stuff. We don't actually respect this anymore. But the fact of the matter is, they still do respect it enough that when a outsider who technically has the right bloodline challenges the king and wins, they all just like, okay, I guess this guy's in charge of our country now and is leading us to war with the rest of the world, and we'll just fucking okay with it. We're just gonna follow it. That's not how well, I guess they're not democratic, but that's not how any fucking civilized and technologically advanced country would be able to function. And B, if all you have to do is challenge the king, I thought initially when Man-Ape or whoever challenges T'Challa that, like, okay, you only have one opportunity to challenge the king, and that's when he's crowned. But Michael B. Jordan, or Killmonger, shows up. It's like days later, weeks later, whatever. He still gets to challenge the king because he's also a prince, because he has the right bloodline. It's like, I'm exercising my right. He says my right, because of his bloodline, to challenge him. Well, if that's the case, why'd you fucking wait till virile, like ripped as fuck Chadwick Boseman is in charge of the country? Why didn't you challenge his dad to a fight in combat, who is this old man with one eye that works?
Yeah, well, okay, that's a good point.
There's got to be some sort of statute of limitation on the challenging.
Yeah, maybe that's all they had to do is like, I'm within the 7-day like time limit of when I'm allowed to challenge the king.
Here's something I didn't understand though, because it's obviously a country with a lot of strong females, like, we have Nakia and Okoye and even Shuri, but then like, why doesn't the queen just be like, no, I'm in charge now? Like, I don't understand, like, why didn't the queen have any sort of power or rank here?
Intersectional feminists haven't figured that one out yet.
Well, they did at one point. They kind of touched upon that too with Nakia. They're like, Nakia, you need to step up and like, you know, and like actually like maybe rule this nation. And she was like, no, I'm not ready for that. Like, there were mountain paths.
Well, I get it. I get if she doesn't want to, but
I guess.
I liked how the movie kind of challenged the ideas, and Ryan Coogler said this as tradition versus innovation. And I think that's very evident in the way they do the Warrior Fall scenes, where it's a very, very traditional type of thing, right? Battle to the death to become king, leader of the, you know, of everyone essentially, but of all these different tribes. But then at the same time, they have like all of these incredible, you know, technological like you know, wonders. Like literally wonders. Like they were flying around in Quinjets in 1992. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like they are so far advanced. They're 20 years advanced of the rest of the world essentially.
Well, they do make a point that like we're not as advanced compared to the rest of the world as we used to be, and that makes sense because everybody Quinjets are just flying around all over the place now. It's like, and there's Iron Man and shit. So it's like, yeah, you're not that technologically advanced anymore. And they do acknowledge that when they say like the rest of the, when Killmonger's like the rest of the world's catching up, we got to fucking use this shit now.
Kingsman in the Golden Circle, not that. Kingsman in the Secret Service. Yeah. They mentioned that too, remember? Or they showed like the iPads and they're like, what those? Just iPads.
And what about him? What makes them so special?
Nothing. That technology's caught up with the spy world.
That's the rest. Yeah, that's the idea of the.
That's similar to this.
Sort of. That's a country versus other countries, not a government versus civilian technology. Yeah, no. My big issue is that the world building. I kept trying to figure out Wakanda and how the fuck this works. Like, okay, so a meteor hits. It's full of vibranium. Vibranium, as far as we knew, is just the strongest material on Earth. It's got some properties that maybe make it very different because, as Spider-Man points out, Cap's shield does not obey the laws of physics, so vibranium can do crazy shit. Magic.
Arthur C. Clarke.
Yeah, it's borderline magic. They're an isolated country, and they've got loads of metal, but they act as though are presented as though they are a super rich nation, and they've kept that richness, their wealth, hidden to the rest of the world. So they don't export their vibranium. In fact, it's outlawed to sell vibranium to other people, and that's how Claw got all fucked up and T'Chaka's brother.
They even lied that Claw took it all.
Yeah. How are they rich?
Right. How are they rich?
If you compare them to other ultra wealthy nations, like Saudi Arabia fucking has
oil.
Ferraris and Lamborghinis are like their regular cars for like policemen. But my point is, the reason why they are wealthy is because they have oil, just like Wakanda has vibranium. They have a natural resource. So what they do is they sell it to other countries, and then that makes all the landowners super wealthy. So how is Wakanda super wealthy if they're completely isolationist? Having metal doesn't give you roads. It doesn't give you massive buildings. You can build them with metal, but you still need construction and tools and other things to build that stuff. Medical technology is not going to be super advanced because your country has a shit ton of metal. It doesn't, like, a lot of it didn't like fucking make sense to me. All they would have had to do to fix that, in my opinion, was just have it be that they are selling some, not all, some of their vibranium secretly. Maybe that's how the CIA gets involved. And then it would make sense that they had all this money and technological innovation because they could just buy it and import it while they are secretly selling their vibranium. Because they're completely isolationist and all they do with their vibranium is use it locally. I don't know if you ever played SimCity, but if you set all your natural resources to use locally, you don't make any fucking money. You got to export that shit. And that's when the money starts coming in. So that didn't make, that just didn't make sense to me. It felt like the movie didn't quite understand how macroeconomics work, which is a lot to ask from a superhero movie.
It is.
In which two guys dressed like cats fight each other. I mean,
I was going to say they sell their technology, but no, they're claiming to be a third world country. So they're claiming to be poor, you know?
Yeah.
They're probably receiving UN aid and laughing at them.
Yeah, that's how they're rich. They're just pocketing.
Yeah. It didn't make a whole lot of sense that they would. I just kept wondering, like, okay, so you guys got like, the metal affected the trees, and somehow you're all rich and super smart. How? I mean, if they have a soul stone, it's at the center of that meteor, and that's what's radiating all this fucking power and innovation, so that they don't need outside resources. Maybe that's what it is. But I mean, unless there's like, just say magic already. Stop fucking this. It's just technology.
Arthur C. Clarke.
But I'm not talking necessarily magic. I'm more specifically talking about how economics work. And the economics of Wakanda do not check out.
But maybe if your technology is so advanced, you don't need economics anymore.
When T'Challa is in America in Civil War, he's getting into a fucking Audi S8. Like, where did he buy that fucking $140,000 car if his country doesn't export anything? Is also pretending to be a third world country. I mean, I guess they could buy that he's the royalty is like has wealth, but nobody else does. But that doesn't.
Is that like what the actual thing that happens in Africa or has happened in the past in Africa?
Yeah. That's fine. But like, what did he buy that with? He had to have used Wakandan money that was exchanged on the foreign market into U.S. dollars, or I guess no, he wasn't in the U.S. He was in German. So
just
euros. Gold,
man. Gold talks. Diamonds talk.
So maybe
showers them in diamonds, fucking throw some gold on them, and they're just like, this is what it's worth in American dollars.
I guess he should just be pretending that like he's the only one who's wealthy, which makes him a dick as far as everyone else is concerned.
Yes, he's Bruce Wayne, right?
Like I got a vibranium suit and in a Quinjet equivalent, but my country's fucking starving.
Well, so he does have to play the role of like of kind of like billionaire king, because he is kind of hiding his identity. In the end of the film, they do kind of establish that he pulled an Iron Man, where he kind of goes, "I am Iron Man." He doesn't actually say that, but they kind of establish that he opens up and is willing to talk about how he's Black Panther.
Yeah, they don't do secret identities. Peter Parker's the only one.
I think that's what's funny about all the Avengers. Yeah, there's only one who wears a mask.
Yeah,
and that's Peter Parker.
Well, Black Panther was a secret Avenger until this film,
right? But this is his first film.
Not really. He's openly talking about how he takes his mask off in front of just German cops.
That's true.
Somebody had a cell phone camera there. They established that Everett Ross
did do that.
Yeah, Everett Ross says, "I had to keep that under wraps for you. I kept that under wraps for you." He says that.
Oh shit.
So
well, Bruce Wayne paid a lot of people off, right?
Well, Bruce Wayne is just walking around, sitting in like random people's apartments, being like, "I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. Flash. It's time to go fight."
I know, or Justice League, where he's walking around with Aquaman, and Aquaman's like, "Bruce Wayne, you're the Batman. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You're crazy, Bruce Wayne." And he's like, "Stop it. Stop. Shut the fuck up, Arthur. Shut the fuck up. You're the bat dressed like a bat, Bruce Wayne."
Yeah. Yeah. So I liked it. They just said no to secret identities. It's kind of a nice way to just kind of not have all those scenes. Like, what's Thor's fucking name? Like, Steve?
Donald Blake.
Donald Blake. Okay.
Donald Blake.
Never hear that. That's an Easter egg. We're not going to do any of that shit.
So in the comics, in this film, like, it's Killmonger is like his name really in the comics, but it's Eric Stevens, and then they kind of like made it Eric Killmonger Stevens, and Killmonger's his like his. I like how Marvel does that. Like, I like how they kind of like work it in as a nickname. Like, they never actually come right out and they're like, "Oh, he's clearly called, this."
No, Cap
like,
America.
He's never called the Falcon, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Falcon's ever called the Falcon, right?
No.
Black Widow, you said Falcon's never been called Black
call
Widow.
her Black Widow.
Never called Black Widow. Never heard the phrase Hawkeye either.
The Hawk. You hear called the Hawk.
Yeah.
Yeah. They mostly try to not deal with the names, which is a little annoying. I mean, did they say Falcon?
I don't think they do.
Yeah, so Iron Man, Black Panther, and this, I don't know if they ever call Hulk. Oh yeah, they do in Thor.
He says Hulk smash.
They do in Thor Ragnarok.
Yes. Yeah, and they've
in Avengers.
Smash. Say in the Incredible Hulk, they say Hulk.
Okay, they call him Hulk from time to time, but they refer to him as Banner specifically when they're talking about the Banner character. So.
A lot.
But
Banner.
Hulk doesn't like being called Banner.
No, that one's fine. That one's fine. I would prefer. You know what really bothers me is when they have to add the in front of it, because that makes it sound okay. It's like the Batman. That one's fine if you do it in like the Christopher Nolan version, but like it bothered me every time in Justice League. You're like, "You're the Batman." It's like, dude's been around for 20 years. Just call him fucking Batman by now.
You're Batman.
The Aquaman. Like,
you're the Wonder Woman.
He's the no one says
Flash?
no one ever says the Wonder Woman or Wonder Woman. But
you're the Superman.
He does say no one says the Superman.
Well, back to Black Panther. I liked the ritualistic battle for the throne at Warrior Falls. I kind of like that. I gave into the super soap opera drama of it. I liked the M'Baku fight. I love the Killmonger fight where he fucking just destroyed and wrecked Black Panther and then threw him fucking off the falls.
I guess.
Yeah.
I also like how he kills Zuri, like Forrest Whitaker. Okay, so Forrest Whitaker. Okay, check this out. Forrest Whitaker gets killed in Rogue One and in Black Panther, right? Essentially the first film in a franchise. Rogue One being the first film in a Star Wars story franchise. And Black Panther being, whatever, the first film in however many episodes of Black Panther we'll get. And then you also have Andy Serkis killed in the second new Star Wars film. And he's also killed in his second appearance in the MCU.
Yeah, Andy Serkis he shows up and gets killed.
He just can't catch a break with Disney, and neither can Forrest Whitaker. They keep getting hired, and they keep killing these people off.
At least Fox let Andy Serkis survive
3 movies
throughout the 3 movies.
Well, for only 3 movies.
Yeah, but he was the main character.
He was
and all the other ones, he was not on screen very much. And the other one, the Disney
no more
movies.
on that. This is not a. We'll not say the name. Spoiler cast. Do not spoil it.
I like Andy Serkis. And he did a good South African accent. I find that accent to be very interesting.
Oh, I love the way he was like, "What do you know of Wakanda?"
What do you know about Wakanda?
It's a third world country. Textiles, shepherds, cool outfits.
All front. Explorers have searched for it. Called it El Dorado. They looked for it in South America. But it was in Africa the whole time.
Yeah, I liked Andy Serkis. I liked his character a lot. I thought it was cool. I liked how Killmonger was a kind of like a kind of like Winter Soldier in the way that he just, when he was what he wanted, he was gonna get. He was on the rails. He was gonna get it. And I love how he just thought, even like tactically, like burn all these fucking herbs, like burn all these heart-shaped herbs.
Why can't they grow more? Isn't it just like fertilized by the vibranium? T'Challa doesn't have an offspring yet, so they've got time.
Now, see, in the comics, he ends up fucking Storm, I think, right? And like Storm becomes like actually his queen.
Yeah,
Aurora Monroe.
They're gonna have some problems doing that in the MCU.
Well, are they? Considering that Fox is moving over, we might actually get eventually Storm introduced. I think Nakia will be probably his first wife. And then I think Black Panther's had multiple wives, honestly. He may have even actually had Nakia, his wife, in some variation in the comics.
I thought you were going to say polygamy. Like,
no, not polygamy. Just that.
Why
like,
not? They
divorces.
fucking have challenges to fucking the king to determine leadership of the entire country. Why not allow multiple wives?
Going back to those challenges, I thought M'Baku was awesome. I loved what I know. I don't know who this actor Winston Duke is, but he was amazing as M'Baku. I
didn't care for him.
I didn't either.
I know everyone loves him. Well, guess what? You're lucky. He'll be back in Infinity War.
I loved his throne when they went to his throne room. That looked like Star Wars to me. I was like,
that was very cool production design.
That was cool.
When he starts,
that was my favorite set. I'll say is that M'Baku's throne room.
When Martin Freeman, Bilbo, he plays Bilbo in this movie, starts to talk, and they start. Going ooh, like fucking apes. I was like,
that was weird.
Oh, a white guy could not have directed this movie. That would have been
no.
I
thought that was weird. I remember thinking that's a little odd.
Yeah, that's a little weird. That I mean, I get it that he has the mask and like gorillas are their culture the way panthers are.
White gorilla. They worship a white gorilla while the Wakandans worship a white cat.
I got that like the gorillas were just their thing. They like gorillas, whatever. But it was just kind of weird to have a whole bunch of black guys acting like apes.
That was a little weird. I think it was a call out to their comic book characters, which unfortunately is kind of a little bit call out to the racist times they were written.
Yeah,
true. Yeah, even though it is a African American pro comic at the time.
Was it created? Was Black Panther
a little bit of racism in it?
Created by a black guy or not? I don't know.
I think Black Panther was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, wasn't he?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're white. A lot of people are calling the Stan Lee cameo racist. I thought it was fine.
Racist? Why? He just takes his chips.
Gambling
in Korea?
it is. Yeah, yes. It was like a white guy stealing money from a black guy or something like that.
I love Stan Lee's cameo.
Stan Lee's cameos are always fine to me. I've never had a problem with one. To me, they're just like something you. It's like, oh, it reminds you that you're seeing a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Or a Fox movie or a Sony movie because he's been in like all kinds of.
Well, they're still Marvel. Yeah.
Stan Lee
Yeah.
and everything. At one point I want someone to like cut together with every Stan Lee cameo and then try to like fill in like with like Justice League style reshoots and like put it like connected and make it like all one story of one watcher and his travels through the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And other, in
all the
other universes too.
And the X-Men.
Oh yeah, multiverse for sure, just like Marvel.
Yeah, multiverse.
Dimensions, baby. Lots of dimensions. I really liked that fucking South Korean club fight. I love that long fucking take in that South Korean fight. There was I think that's semi-practical. I think that it was mostly shot and then it was probably some stitching. But I did see this like how to like shoot a scene or whatever it was. Vanity Fair printed for Ryan Coogler.
Anatomy of a scene.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Ryan Coogler, co-writer and director of Marvel Studios' Black Panther, and this is Notes on the Scene.
And he talks about how he did actually do stuff. Like he actually did have things like cameras on wires that were passed off onto like cameramen who then like ran with the camera. And like it really was like a guy like getting kicked off the balcony and having to make that fall and try to land on a mat.
Yeah, that was the only
just out of shot.
Really practical sequence in the movie. I thought it was and it looked good. I mean, what is it? It is kind of weird that for a movie this like Africa is, and it's like they actually went to Busan to shoot in South Korea, but everything Africa was just green screens done in Georgia. They didn't go to Africa for the movie.
Wow.
No, they didn't. And even Baby went to Africa.
Yeah.
They went to the fucking Ivory Coast.
Black Panther contributed less money to Africa than the movie Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend.
Sean Young.
Not everybody gets to experience this.
William Catt. Baby, the Secret of the Lost Legend.
Which employed actual Africans to play Africans, whereas this movie employed Scientologist Forrest Whitaker.
Cool Boy Nation, check out our last episode, our commentary track for Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend. Doran, have you listened to it yet?
I finished it right before we started recording this Spoilercast. And you know how I feel about Baby. I love Baby, the Secret of the Lost Legend.
Ballard, what the fuck is it with all your fucking like long-term friends like loving Baby? Because Andy also fucking loves Baby too.
I just grew up with it. I watched it all the time as a kid.
And then Nolan hates it.
You guys had an episode a few back where that was like one of the boners you picked out of the hat was like your favorite boner moment from Baby.
Yeah.
And after I heard that, I was like, I gotta go back and watch this. It's been too long. And I seriously watched it. And then, a couple weeks later, all of a sudden, you guys have an audio commentary. I was like, yes, I just watched this. So like all of it was fresh.
Well, Cool Boy Nation, if you were a fan of Baby Secret of the Lost Legend, be sure to go to patreon.com/coolboyspodcast. If you subscribe to us, you get the unabridged full movie commentary of Baby Secret of the Lost Legend, which you can sync up with your VHS or Laserdisc of Baby Secret of the Lost Legend and listen to the Cool Boys.
Or Blu-ray.
Ow! I was going to say, Ballard owns it on Blu-ray.
Blu-ray, and I owned it on DVD.
Who was your favorite character in the Black Panther feature film?
The white guy.
Oh, dude, I would say Okoye.
Okoye, that was my favorite. She was awesome. Her face was just hard the whole time.
Oh, Michonne? She's a Michonne. Let's just call her Michonne. Come on.
Is that her name from Walking Dead?
Michonne.
Fine. I say Michonne.
She's just got the shaved head with a tattoo, and then she just looked hard the whole time.
Okoye, I thought was awesome. I loved her in this movie. I thought Denai Guerrero was fantastic as Okoye, and I loved how she was like, "Don't freeze,
don't freeze."
I never freeze.
Mainly because I felt like that's how the movie had to be. I felt like the movie was like, we were gonna make this. We're gonna make this completely wholeheartedly. We are not gonna pull any punches. We're gonna do all the punches we want, and they did. They touched upon a lot of fucking touchstones, a lot of major things that I'm sure nobody thought a blockbuster would touch upon. I in fact with Okoye, they brought up, of course, hair, right? I mean, that's a huge fucking deal right there. I mean, we're not gonna get into that here, but I love that, and I loved how also the Dora Milaje, it's a big deal for them for hair to shave their head when they become when they fully graduate and become a Dora, that's a big deal. So they having anything over their head is the fucking pisses them off. And I love when she takes the fucking wig off.
Oh yeah, I love when she tossed the wig.
I thought Denai looked pretty hot in that wig. I maybe that makes me racist. I don't know.
Yeah, she looks better with hair.
Does that make me racist?
Why? Because the hair was kind of anglo-sized and it was all straight?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you think she's hot as Michonne with her dreads?
Yeah, I think she's hot regardless.
Yeah, she is.
I liked her hot with her fucking shaved head.
I thought the shaved head looked really hot.
She pulled off a shaved head, and not everyone pulls off shaved heads. Natalie Portman pulled off a great shaved head. Demi Moore pulled off a great shaved head. But, not everyone can do that. Denai pulls it off.
But I liked how she also had a little bit of a sense of humor. She was like, oh yeah, he totally froze.
With Shuri?
Or guns. They're such primitive weapons or whatever.
Yeah.
My two favorites were Okoye and M'Baku.
Oh, really? You liked M'Baku that much?
I did.
I actually liked Wakabi more, honestly.
Who?
Wakabi?
Wakabi?
Daniel Kaluuya?
Wakabi was good.
I loved how he's fucking Okoye. I loved how they randomly hinted oh yeah, he's fucking Okoye.
You're my lover. Yeah, I was like, whoa, okay.
And people are bitching about how he telegraphed his turn, Wakabi was obviously gonna go bad. I like that. I like that you saw his natural progression and that but who cares if he's telegraphing it? It was this natural progression anyways to this twist, from betraying essentially T'Challa by bringing in Eric Killmonger.
You were using everybody's fucking character's name, and I do not know these characters' names.
Daniel Kaluuya, the dude from Get Out.
We've read the books.
Okay, you could have said the guy from Get Out. I didn't know his name was
Wakabi.
Wakabi.
Wakabi was good. I love that actor too. But I don't know. M'Baku had an impact on me. Just his throne room.
Winston Duke.
Yeah, I was like, dude, give me more Winston Duke. This guy's great.
You're going to get him, Dorn, because the Avengers clearly show, the Avengers Infinity War trailer clearly shows we're getting the River Tribe, we're getting the Mining Tribe, we're getting the Merchant Tribe, we're getting the Border Tribe, and we're getting the Jabari Tribe all fighting for Wakanda.
M'Baku's not going to be anywhere near as much on screen as every other Avenger in that movie.
I think it's going to be a hassle for the editor to get that movie into 2.5 hours or 3 hours. Think about how much they're going to have to cover, how many characters they're going to cover before it's move on to the next scene.
Oh yeah, it's going to be so fast cut paste.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to have the ability to take the time to focus like Black Panther did with such a large character base. And I also think the Avengers Infinity War movie is going to be a lot more of your favorite characters all in one movie, all in separate locations the whole time though. Never together. Right. You never really get them together. I think when the actors are saying there was scenes we shot with 62 people, I think when they're talking about that Wakanda stuff we saw where everyone's running down fields. I don't think we're gonna get the Avengers together until the fourth film.
Speaking of Wakanda, should we perhaps let Nolan contribute because he's been texting us all during this entire spoiler cast?
I agree.
Wakanda forever. Wakanda forever. That's my contribution, Wakanda Forever.
That's from Nolan, who has not seen Black Panther.
Need more dong.
Felk, did you say who your favorite character was?
Yeah, Felk, who's yours?
Was
it Io? Felk, was it Io, the woman from Civil War?
Move, or you will be moved.
Who is my favorite character in Black Panther? I guess T'Challa himself. Well, no, he's not that interesting. That's a good question. Honestly, I want to say fucking Claw until he dies. He's Andy Serkis is he's the only one in that movie who's fucking laughing and having fun. I guess Michonne is also laughs a couple times. But her character's not super well developed. And until
what about Nakia? Do you like Nakia? She was a Bond girl. She was a perfect Bond girl.
She was a Bond girl, yeah.
She was hot. She was smart, right? She was integral to the plot.
This is Lupita Nyong'o, right?
Yes. Lupita Nyong'o, okay. Yeah. She was Nakia. She was great. She was the part of the movie I felt was the most Bond. When she was involved in the film, that felt like more like a Bond movie. That and when you had Q and /Shuri, I felt like that was the Bond stuff to me, really. And then everything else kind of felt more. I kind of wanted to say like soap opera, Game of Thrones-y, kind of royal, The Crown, whatever you want to call it.
Speaking of Infinity War, I like how this movie was not an Iron Man 2, where it was just setting up what's to come. Because we obviously know Wakanda from the trailer of Infinity War is going to have at least a big presence. So I was glad that it wasn't just, hey, like, we got this big movie coming out, so check out Black Panther, which is going to totally set it up. This felt very standalone, Black Panther.
It did. It did. I liked that. And I liked that it was able to take its time to focus on that. I liked how the movie picked up right after the events of Civil War.
Yeah. And you got some flashbacks of like Zemo.
Yeah, like right after.
Yeah.
I like a week or something.
Yeah.
Did you notice that means this whole movie took place before the events of Spider-Man Homecoming?
I'm not sure where Spider-Man Homecoming fits in the timeline.
Spider-Man Homecoming takes place 3 months after Civil War. This movie takes place 1 week after Civil War.
Interesting.
Okay, so this is before Vulture.
Yeah, it's before Vulture, yeah.
And Doctor Strange takes place, ? And
Doctor Strange takes place between 2016 and 2017, and Thor Ragnarok clearly says that it was 2 years since he's been gone looking for the Infinity Stone. That means he left Earth in 2015 from Avengers: Age of Ultron, and that means he's been traveling since 2017. The thing is that when he went to Sakaar, Jeff Goldblum makes reference how time doesn't play there. Loki says he's been there for 2 weeks, while Thor's only been there for like half a day. So. I'm guessing Sakaar launches them up about 3 years to 2020, and that way when we have Thor Ragnarok end and they're all in the ship and the Thanos ship comes next to it, Sanctuary 2, I think that's like been 3 years in the future beyond 2017. So I think Thor Ragnarok starts in 2017 and ends in 2020.
Exciting.
How's that for math? And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 takes place almost immediately after Guardians of the Galaxy first one. That's phase 3 so far.
Was Black Panther the last? I guess Infinity War will be the last movie of phase 3? Or is it Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Infinity War is not. It goes Infinity War, then Ant-Man and the Wasp, then Captain Marvel, and then it'll be the Avengers' 4th film that's untitled. And the reason it's untitled is because it's apparently a huge spoiler, the title.
That's dumb.
Yeah, because it's probably Avengers Iron Man's funeral.
I think Ant-Man's going to take place after Civil War almost immediately as well. And then they're going to go into the quantum realm. And then when they come out, it'll be like 2020 as well. And like Avengers has already happened. And that's where they were when the Avengers shit went down.
Oh, man.
And then I think Ant-Man's going to be a big character in the next Avengers film.
Okay.
Yeah, good luck with that. Who wants that? Who wants more Ant-Man on his own?
Look, I liked Ant-Man, but the trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp did not sell it.
No, I was like, that is one, if not their worst trailer I think they've ever had. I was just like,
really?
Yeah, no.
I'm trying to think of a worse one, but you're challenging
I could not fucking care less about that movie. And I like Paul Rudd a lot.
Computer?
Yes.
Do we have any news sequences?
I have a beta sequence I've been working on. Would you like to see it?
All right.
Okay.
Hey, Paul. I'm Tane, your latest dancer. I can't wait to entertain you.
Now, Tane I can get into.
And I just like, I like Michael Douglas a lot.
Number 1, I don't remember how often I used to jerk off, but it was a lot. Number 2, I wasn't pissed off at my dad, even when I was old enough to know what he and Mom were doing in the bedroom. Number 3, I don't look in the toilet before I flush it. Number 4, I haven't wet my bed for a long time. Number 5, why don't the two of you go fuck yourselves? I'm out of here.
And I have no feelings strongly about Evangeline Lilly.
We have to go back, Kate.
At all, Kate.
We have to go back!
What'd you do, Kate? Why'd I wait 5 seasons to find out what the fuck you did? Yeah, no, I could not care less about that movie.
But you'll see it.
Gonna see it.
The episode where you find out what Kate did is titled "What Kate Did," I believe.
I think it is called that. I think you're right. I kind of liked Eric Killmonger's plan, even though it did show up kind of in the second act, that he was just going to, right the wrong of the African, diaspora with fucking all the WMDs from Vibranium. I thought that was a wonderful twist to his character, but it felt a little so chaotic.
It didn't work for me, and I guess I'll have to get into the controversy just a little teensy bit, because one of the things that's going on the internet right now is that some conservative outlets are actually praising this movie, despite the fact that everyone all them white people going to be going like, we don't need no Black Panther. Actually, they're praising the movie's politics quite a bit, because it is like the hero is kind of pro-nationalist and protecting his country, and the villain is obsessed with race-based retribution. Now, the movie does kind of give him like a sympathetic villain, especially at the end when he dies. That like, I get why you're angry, man.
Hey, dude, that was pretty poetic way he died, dude.
His desire to wage war on basically all the colonialist governments and countries was bad. He was still the villain, and it's interesting to say that. Okay, vengeance based on race is what the bad guy's doing, and the good guy is trying to stop him, and is going to, in the end, learn a lesson of outreach and trying to do improvement based public works rather than hostility based public works. And I think it's timely, and it's kind of weird that like specifics, a lot of conservatives are praising the movie, and it's not trolling. It's like, yeah, the movie has a good message, a message that should be taken to heart and should be thought about a little bit more. And
totally,
I think that's what yeah. You know what? I'm going to give it 3. I'm going to up it because it does say teach the right things in the end, even though the world bending doesn't quite work. World building.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Phil, he's called the Noble Avenger. I mean, Black Panther, that is like that's the Avenger. He's the Noble Avenger because he rights the wrongs. I mean, he's literally righting the wrongs of the sins of his father. Once he realizes what the sins of his father are, he does work towards fixing that. And he agrees with the message of Killmonger, of Eric's message. Like, he totally agrees with it, just not with the delivery.
Yeah.
Like, he wants the outreach, like you said. Like, that's perfect. That's absolutely right. Well, like, Eric's idea of outreach was to, essentially outreach with arms, like actual, like, weapons and stuff, while, like Black Panther, T'Challa's outreach is with open hand, helping to learn and wanting to teach and help, raise. Why do we fall, Master Bruce?
So we can learn to pick ourselves up.
Yeah. I think they added in the line with the first post-credit scene, which is the only one I saw, about, wise men build bridges, fools build barriers, just because they wanted to make it clear, like, this ain't pro Trump. They want to make it clear, like, hey, we're not doing that, because so much of the
you saw the United Nations end sequence, Easter egg scene?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't wait for those usually, Phil.
I wait for the one after the
he doesn't
main
go
credits.
the whole distance.
I don't do that.
Okay.
So you missed
well,
Bucky.
before that, so that United Nations scene was actually the original ending of the film, but they decided they wanted to end it, the film, in Oakland. And I liked how they ended the film. Actually, like, the film officially ends in Oakland because that's where the movie began, in Oakland. That was the opening shot was Oakland. Good. The final shot is essentially, quote unquote, Oakland. And I like how that is the perfect cap off to Killmonger's story. I mean, you saw his origin, and then you see essentially what his death will do in the afterlife.
Sort of legacy, yeah.
It'll continue on to help all these people in Oakland.
There was a nice little reference to the fact that, like, yes, the rest of the world is starting to catch up, because, like, when the kids see it's a flying saucer in 1993, they're like, what the fuck? That's shit. But when the kids see it in 2018, they're like, is that one of those Jatari ships or something? It's like, because Quinjets are flying all over the place. There's fucking alien invasions in New York. That's seeing it land is like, oh shit, we're seeing it up close in person. It's not like, what the hell is this? So that was
totally right.
That was kind of like the idea that, like, the world is starting to, like, where the Black Panther is not that fucking weird a thing anymore.
Yeah, very
fucking
true.
Awesome point, dude. I love that movie even more. But this movie just raised to a 4.5 out of 5 for me now, just because of that alone.
It was smart that they did that, because because when the ship started coming in the air, I was like, if these kids go like, whoa, it's a spaceship, like no, that, like, there's spaceships all over the place, and there's alien invasions happening that are like public knowledge happening in the most important city in the country. It's like, you're in Oakland, fucking Iron Man lives in Malibu. I mean, it's not like this shit's super weird and impossible. You guys have, like, Iron Patriot, or I guess he's called Iron Patriot, War Machine, is like a national hero. Like, it made sense that, like, they were, like, seeing it as like, okay, this is neat that it's here, because they never fucking come to Oakland, the shitty street in Oakland.
Right.
But it's like, it's not like something supernatural or sci-fi. They don't think it's well, I guess they do think it's an alien ship, because aliens exist.
I do like how the United Nations sequence kind of does establish that, like, beyond this outreach in Oakland, that, they are going to open up their technology to the world, or at least that's really well hinted upon with a smirk. That's the I am Iron Man moment of this film.
Yeah.
And that'll be interesting. I think that'll really affect the way Phase 4 can play out as a totally more futuristic society and become even more fantasy based. And I think that might help Phase 4 kind of differentiate itself so much from these first 3 phases and be something fresh and new.
I'm not really sure what technology they really had over Iron Man's technology that was like that. They have really fast maglev trains. I mean, they didn't.
Yeah, but they also have that black vibranium sand computer that they used.
Yeah,
I guess that's new.
What Shuri used to drive the car from.
That was sick.
That was really cool, right?
And Martin Freeman used as well as Everett Ross as the that was awesome. It was an arcade, right? He just got to play an arcade. That's all it was.
An arcade game. Speaking of Phase 4, I was not a big fan of Doctor Strange. And so I don't really feel like we need any more of those movies. I mean, obviously, Doc mentioned Ant-Man wasn't, hitting for him that well. So I feel like Black Panther is the first superhero we're seeing that could continue to have more movies in Phase 4. That'll be interesting. Obviously, we're not going to have any more Iron Man, probably not any more Captain America.
Well, what about Spider-Man? Is it because he's just Sony? Is that why?
Didn't they only do a contract for like 2 movies or something?
I thought they did a contract for 3 Sony films and 3 Marvel films, and so we're gonna get 3 Sony films of Peter Parker as Spider-Man. We have 1 now. We get 2 more.
Yeah, there's also a Venom movie coming that may or may not be in the MCU. I am still not clear.
I don't think so.
I think it's gonna be in the Spider-Man's MCU, which is in canon, but just referenced upon Netflix.
Tom Holland's supposed to cameo as Peter Parker, but not as Spider-Man.
Yeah, like anybody that's not main Marvel MCU. Well, main Marvel MCU doesn't reference anybody outside of main Marvel MCU, but what they do is everyone outside of main Marvel MCU. So if you're ABC Marvel or if you're Netflix Marvel or Sony Marvel, you reference Marvel, but Marvel will never reference you.
Right. So now they have a 4th tier of their universe.
Right.
Essentially, yeah. And Venom will be a part of it.
God, it's fucking confusing. That's so funny. Try just real fast. Try to wrap your head around that. They have the episodic movies, which all take place in one continuity. They have TV shows that can be affected by the events of the movies, and people from the movies can go to the TV shows, but nothing that happens in the TV shows can be referenced or have an impact on the movies. Then they have a Netflix shows which can tangentially reference things that are in the movies, but they have to say flag waver to refer to Captain America or guy with hammer, and they can only loosely reference to the events of the Avengers as the incident, and nothing from that world can ever come into the ABC or movies networks. And now they've got the Sony world in which the character from the Sony movies is going to be able to be in the standalone or in the main movie threads, but they also will have movies that connect to that character who will not be mentioned in the main movies. Jesus fucking Christ. Shared universe? Oh, right. Freeform.
And those are shows?
Yeah, Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, Cloak and Dagger, right.
But you're missing one, Felk. You're missing the new one that's going to be coming out with the Disney streaming service that they just announced. Disney actually announced. And they already have their own Marvel TV series they're building out just for that. They haven't announced what it is yet.
Okay, you don't know. But I was going to say, will that include X-Men and Fantastic Four, or are we going to get those later?
They haven't announced what
we don't know.
It could be a Fantastic Four TV show. It could be a X-Men TV show. I doubt that. It more than likely it's probably something like Moon Knight or something like that.
Moon Knight, yeah, that could work.
Going back to Black Panther, final things about it, I guess, guys, really is Felk, the last Easter egg. Did you or did you not see it?
I did not see it. I know it's about Bucky.
So yeah, it's about the White Wolf is what they refer to him, and it's Bucky, and he looks totally fucking fine. He's missing his arm still, and it's the second character in this movie to have missing an arm. It was weird. I've seen it. I was like, wait, that's the second character to not have an arm in it. What's going on?
Bad eyes, bad arms. Hey, why are you being so ableist? Aren't they just people?
I know. Is that what it is? It's all it's the outcome of Phase 2's Empire Strikes Back reference for every film.
Well, I mean that's Marvel's thing is damaged superheroes. Tony Stark's got a heart condition. Doctor Strange has fucked up hands. Charles Xavier's paralyzed.
Yeah.
Everybody's got fucked up. Everybody's got stuff that's wrong with them to a certain degree. I mean, some people are just fine.
Cyclops can't even use his fucking eyes.
All the mutant abilities can be disabilities in their own right. But the idea that Xavier is the most powerful mind mutant, yet he's still in a body that can be paralyzed. It's the idea that and outside of Barbara
World can't touch
Gordon, there's
people.
really none of that in the DC universe. That Marvel's kind of thing has always been like
Batman got his back broken at one point. Fixed it though.
he fixed it.
Fixed it in days.
Yeah, he fixed it and
Fixed it
healed
so
pretty
good.
And then
fast.
climbed out of a giant hole. Yeah. It's fine.
Well, or he had Azazel take over for a while. No, not Azazel.
Azrael.
Azrael.
I have that issue.
What's his
signed by
name?
Joe
It's very
Quesada.
French. Jean-Baptiste, Jean-Paul Vallée. Jean-Paul Vallée. I mean, Captain America is a sickly kid.
Yeah, he is sickly.
That's the whole idea. Is that it's damaged people becoming strong. That's nice.
But Marvel does damaged heroes, and that's what they established with Bucky. But they established with the Bucky we're going to get probably moving forward is someone with a clearer conscience.
Will
and-
Bucky become the new Captain America?
Yeah, probably.
I think it's if they were to go based on the way they set up the storyline so far between a Captain America trilogy, Bucky is would be the next Captain America, but I could easily see it going like as a pulling a fast one and being like, boom, it's Sam.
They
I
got
can see
Sebastian
that.
Stan for 9 movies. That's his contract.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
All right. Well, that's what I heard. This city hall.
That's what I heard. Yeah, as well. Yeah, they have him for pretty good lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I never understand that. So does Black Panther count? He's in it for 12 seconds.
That sometimes depends because Chris Evans showing up in Thor: The Dark World did not count. That was a favor. So it's possible that Sebastian Stan could have done it as a favor, or it's possible they could have shot it for Avengers: Infinity War and then just put it in the back end of Black Panther.
That's how they get around it, because that's why James Gunn directed the end credit sting for Thor 2 with Sif
when they
meeting
go to the
Benicio del
collector.
Toro. They're
Yeah.
like, well, we can't get Benicio del Toro for 2 movies, but we can get him for 1 movie and just not tell him we're going to take this part out of the movie and fucking put it in the other movie. Benicio del Toro did not know he would be appearing in Thor 2.
And Ant-Man, they ended with Civil War sequence being with Bucky, Falcon, and Steve Rogers all in the warehouse in Germany. That was the end credit scene for Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So it was like that. They literally took a scene straight out of Civil War for that too.
Yeah, they've been doing that a lot with.
They did it with Doctor Strange. They took a scene
Right,
out of
Doctor Strange.
Thor 3 and just moved.
Yeah, they did. They took Thor Ragnarok directly. I remember thinking like, oh, this is original, and they didn't. All right. So guys, now that we're just done with Black Panther, let's give our quick cool boy top 5 MCU origin films to date. Guys, who would like to go first?
I can go first.
Go ahead, Felk.
Iron Man is still the best.
Okay, so you're number 1.
Followed by Captain America, the First Avenger. Or just the First Avenger if you're from the UK, which I know you don't like, which I think is a perfect nostalgia trip, very Joe Johnson. And I love the fake Chris Evans. Third, I actually will say Spidey-Man Homecoming. I don't know if that counts as an origin. I would say it does. I think it's a very fun movie experience.
It's a different kind of origin. It's not about like how he gets the powers, but how he actually learns to deal with them.
Yeah, and I guess I'll throw Guardians, Black Panther.
Dorn, how about you? Go ahead. You can go next.
Number 1 is Iron Man. I guess number 2 would be Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Then Black Panther. Then Captain America, First Avenger, and I only have 4. Then I guess Spider-Man.
Spider-Man Homecoming?
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 5 will go like this. My number 1, I would say for sure is, yes, absolutely, Iron Man.
Yeah.
My number
Bingo.
2 is Black Panther.
Cool.
Wow.
My number 3 would be Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
My number 4 would be Spider-Man Homecoming. And my number 5 would be Captain America, the First Avenger.
You think Black Panther is better than Guardians of the Galaxy? Gardens of the Galaxy?
Yes, I enjoyed Black Panther more than Guardians of the
Really?
Galaxy.
I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd rank Guardians above Black Panther.
Well, Cool Boy Nation, I have one recommendation. If you like yourself some Black Panther and you can't wait for your Avengers Infinity War, I would recommend a movie called Ultimate Avengers 2, Rise of the Black Panther. It's animated, but it gets your Black Panther. It's kind of like an introduction into Wakanda from these Avengers' point of view, because it is the second Avengers film. It is based on the Ultimates series. And it might have some elements that are similar to what we might see in Avengers Infinity War.
that brings us to a close of tonight's episode. New episodes of the Cool Boys podcast come out every Tuesday. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Cool Boys Podcast and Facebook as the Cool Boys Podcast. You can email us at thecoolboyspodcast@gmail.com. Be sure to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube by searching for the Cool Boys Podcast. And please rate and review us on iTunes. And if you'd like, you can donate to us on Patreon and receive additional episodes of Cool Boys After Dark, including the full commentary to Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend, and a Cool Boys shout-out on our normal episodes that air every Monday. You can find the Cool Boys on Patreon at patreon.com/coolboyspodcast. And please check out our other great Cool Boys Central content with Batman and Beyond, a Cool Boys podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Patreon, with Cool Boys have an uncensored discussion about Batman, the animated series, everything ranging from bat tips to bat nips, and all the boners they have given us. Offer Doran a chance to plug their super cool social media and so cool stuff. Doran.
You know I don't.
Do you have any super cool stuff or so cool social media?
If I recall, Dorn, you had a really cool Instagram you were going to promote, but you never promoted.
Instagram?
Did you say you had an Instagram last time? You're like, I have an Instagram page.
I've got an Instagram account. I don't.
There you go, Cool Boy Nation.
Be sure to follow Doran on Instagram at Kylie Jenner. Thank you for listening. Stay cool, Cool Boy Nation. Until next time, it's Byzies from Falcon.
That's Byzies from Ballard.
And that's Byzies from Dorn.
Thank you, Dorn. Thanks so much for being here, big guy.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for letting me join you.
It's been a pleasure and a privilege, Dorn. Did you like it? Did you like it? Did you like it? Yeah.
You are an outstanding American boy.
You've excelled in all things.
I pump while I dump. Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Oh, yeah. So cool.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Without even a damn cellar, get out of here!
Oh, yeah.
This episode of the Cool Boys podcast was brought to you by...
Oh, we never talked about our drinks.
I'm not drinking.
Well, I'm just having a Roman Coke.
I am drinking a New Belgium Pale Ale.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Get some
Cool Boys.
So serious.